Hey, food storage is one of the most important things you can do in preparedness. In this video, I'm going to give you 5 awesome food storage tips. Hey, I'm Todd Sepulveda. I am the editor of Prepper Website and the host of the Prepper Website podcast. And when I do the website and when I'm doing the podcast, I talk a lot about food storage because it is so important. So I want to give you 5 tips really quick, all right? So here it is. Here's number 1 is this. When you think about food storage and you think about your pantry, think in terms of recipes versus just stocking up your pantry. So let me explain that just a little bit. A lot of the times you get the idea that you're going to the grocery store, you're going to buy an extra can of this and an extra can of that, and you're going to put it into your pantry and it's there. And that's good, and that's a great strategy if you want to use that strategy. But if you think in terms of recipes, then when you're buying those extra cans and you're buying those things that you're adding to your pantry, then you already have a menu built into your pantry. So you don't have to go to the pantry and figure out what it is you have and try to mix and match and come up with something. So if you can think in terms of recipes, right? So I'm going to buy this can and this can and this can because it goes into a recipe that I make that my family loves, then that is the way to go. All right, number 2 is if you haven't incorporated some kind of inventory sheet, well then that's probably one of the things you want to start doing right now. That's an awesome tip. And let me explain why. First of all, if you make a menu and then you make your inventory sheet off of that menu, so let's just say you make a 1 week, 2 week, let's say you make a 2 week menu, and then you can multiply that by 4. But when you have that 2 week menu, and then you can make an inventory sheet off of that menu, then you can go to the store and easily get everything you need, and now you know that you have food storage for 2 weeks, right? So if you multiply that by 2, I said 4 earlier, but by 2, now you have a month's worth of meals. And so that's an easy way of doing that. So now you know that if you wanted to add, let's just say you wanted to double up everything you had, you just keep adding. You buy everything on that inventory list and you just keep going and buying as much of that as you want to be able to stock up on your pantry. And so that's a really smart way of doing things where you don't have to reinvent the wheel every time. Especially, again, you're talking about recipes that your family loves and you know that they're going to eat. So then after you have that inventory sheet and you build your menu off of that inventory sheet, then you can go ahead and keep that inventory sheet to mark down whenever you use things. So, first in, first out, you're going to store what you eat what you store, you bring out your cans, so you're feeding your family, and you just go to that inventory sheet and you say, hey, I am down this amount, or you can go the opposite way. I need to buy 2 or 3 of these, cans, whatever it was, to replenish so that I have a month or 2 months or 3 months worth of canned foods inside my pantry. All right. Number 3 is this. I don't know if you've ever looked at the best by dates or the use by dates or whatever. Those suckers are so small that you need a magnifying glass to read those, right? So a great food storage tip is to get a Sharpie, and when you come home from the grocery store, just write the date the date that you came home from the grocery store, whatever date that is, write it on the top of the can, right? And so that would just make it so easy. It might be off just a little bit from the best by date that's so small that you can't see it, but it's not going to be that the cans go bad. So, or go bad, just within that little time frame. So write the day that you bring your cans home from the grocery store, write them down, or write down the date on the very top of the can with a Sharpie, and that way it's just easy to be able to look at it and to see, and you don't have to fight with magnifying glass or glasses or try to fight to see if your food storage has passed the best by date. Here's the other thing, or number 4 is, when was the last time you really did an inspection of your food storage? And this is important, right? So really, I was going to put this as number 1, but I felt probably people would say, that's kind of boring, Todd. But I'm leaving this for number 4. And the reason is that we tend to buy things, put them in our pantry, and if we don't have some kind of system, we don't really know what we have. And so you might think, I have a week's worth of food, or I have a month's worth of food, but you didn't realize that people were taking, a can here, a can there, taking out, using it, and you might have in your mind, hey, I bought that a while back and I have that, and then you go and it's not there. So it's very important to put eyes on your food pantry, on your food storage, and just check it out and look at what you have. Again, that's why that inventory is really important. The other thing that you want to do when you're doing this is you want to check the dates. If you didn't write down the dates with the Sharpie, you want to fight to try to make sure everything is still good, or if it's getting to its best buy date or best use by date, then you want to go ahead and move that up so that you can use it so it doesn't go to waste. And the other thing is you just want to verify that there's no bulging cans, there's no rust on any cans, there's no critters that have gotten inside your pantry or anything like that. So that's really important to just put some eyes, do a visual on your food pantry every so often. That's really important to do. And number 5, here's the last one, is you got to think about the extras. A lot of the times we think about food storage and we think about the main meal, but we don't think about, the condiments. We don't think about, salt and pepper. We don't think about spices. We don't think about, seasoning foods like that. Maybe, I don't know, maybe you like spicy things, hot sauce. And I'll tell you what, if you've got a lot of rice and beans, and I know that this isn't like canned stuff, but let's just say you've got some, 5-gallon buckets of long-term food storage of rice and beans, and some spices go a long, long way there, right? And so make sure that you have spices, make sure that you have condiments, ketchup and mayonnaise and mustard and different kinds of sauces. Those aren't going to last as long when you're thinking really long term. But if you're rotating those things out, they add a lot to your food. So make sure that you have that. Make sure you have some coffee. Coffee is one of those things that, if you are a coffee drinker, you're going to want. And you don't want an emergency situation to be a time when you are trying to, or you don't have any coffee and any caffeine. You don't want to be dealing with that. You want to have some drinks, maybe some powdered drinks that you can add to, bottles of water or whatever. That always makes things just a little bit easier to take, right? And so if you are a family, your family is used to having some kind of drink other than water or milk when they are sitting down to eat. You want to have some extra things that you can put in place there. So again, fruit punch or Tang or whatever it is out there, just having some extras. So think about that when it comes to your food storage. Maybe even in the extras, you might even want to think about some plasticware, some paper plates, different things like that. Well, guys, that is it for this video, a very short one, but I want to tell you, if you are looking for some really great articles on food storage, I have a link in the description of this video, and it's a free download when you subscribe to my email list, and it's I have 25 awesome articles that every prepper should read. And so again, that is a free download when you subscribe to my email list. And they're articles that pertain to food storage, to water, to operational security, to first aid, all those good things. But if you want to know more about food storage, there is a link in the description where you can click on and you can go download that PDF. And then also I have a course, a free course on food storage that you can take, and that's going to be in the description below. Guys, thanks so much for watching. God bless.